back, guys. So those of you who know me, follow my channel, know I'm really into retro gaming. But I also like a lot of current stuff. I do have a PS4. We have an Xbox One, but that's more of my kids' system. And I do have a Nintendo Switch that is all mine, all mine. And I know my kids don't watch my channel, but I have a Nintendo Switch that I did buy for them. So we're going to have 2 Switches. Hopefully I can pay it off in time for Christmas. But I'm really looking forward to them experiencing the Nintendo Switch on their own, playing some, multiplayer games with them, sharing games and all that kind of stuff. Typically, I wouldn't do that, but hey, I have to have my own Switch for my own personal business. That portableness of the Nintendo Switch is just awesome, which is one of the reasons I really love this system. And we'll talk a little more about that in a minute. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at my top 5 picks of Nintendo Switch games releasing this holiday season that I just cannot wait to get my hands on. So there might be some stuff that's not so much a surprise, but there might be some cool little things that you wouldn't expect as well. So let's go ahead and get this party started and take a look at my first pick. Now my first pick, Super Mario Odyssey. This is going to be a lot of people's first picks, obviously. So that's why I just wanted to get it out of the way immediately, because it comes as no surprise. Super Mario Odyssey, a lot of people are looking forward to. I'm sure this is going to hit Game of the Year type status. I do have some reservations about it, but I'm sure once I play the game, that will be put to rest. But a couple of my concerns are just the aesthetic, as far as some of the areas you're playing in. The human beings that are in the game kind of are a little off-putting to me. I'm not 100% how all that plays into the story, but being in New Donk City, and there being other humans that don't fit the same form and style as Mario, and I know there's a reason behind all that, but typically when I see something like that, it reminds me of Sonic the Hedgehog's 3D games that had human beings in them, and I never liked that. So I'm hoping that that's just a very minor part of the game, and those concerns can be put to the rest for me. My other concern is being an old school gamer and just really loving Mario. Mario 64 is the tops for me. I really love the game. Plus the old school games as well. Can't get enough of the original Super Mario Brothers. And then Super Mario World is one of my top favorite games of all time. Just can't get enough of them. And Mario has had a lot of 3D entries over the past few years. For me, Mario 64 is the best, but they've also put out other ones that just didn't hit it quite as well for me. For a lot of other people, it did, but for me, I couldn't get into Mario Sunshine as much as other people could. Stuff like that. I really did like Super Mario 3D World and Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. Those were cool games. Definitely got into those. So I'm really hopeful that this is going to hit that itch for me of having an awesome new Super Mario Brothers game. And I'm sure I won't be disappointed, but I always have those kind of reservations when something strikes me. Some of the gameplay mechanics, you using your cap to take over other creatures like you're seeing here, the human beings, those kind of things. I don't know, being a little nitpicky, but that's okay. That's my number 1 pick. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So next on my list, this may be a surprise to some, is Snipper Clips Plus. Now, Snipper Clips was a launch title for the Nintendo Switch. It was a downloadable only game. Now, for me, I don't like download games. I want to have a physical release. If I'm forced to, and that's the only way the game is released, hey, I'll deal with it if it's something I really want. Now, Snipper Clips, I downloaded the demo when I first got my Switch, and I loved the game. I was like, this is really fun, especially playing 2 players. You can play a single player, but, the fun is with 2 players. And I really, the low price point of the game being $20, download, many times I almost pulled the trigger on that. And then when I found out they were doing a physical release with, additional content, it was like, heck yes, I'm going to go ahead and hold off and wait for this to come out. And this is coming out in a few weeks. So, at a price of $29.99, I don't think you can go wrong. If you played the demo, you know what I'm talking about. It's pretty unique and fun. definitely doesn't merit a full price tag of $60. And I think a physical release at $30 is definitely a fair price to pay. So that is one that I really can't wait for. What do you guys think? Let's go ahead and take a look at my third pick. My third pick, Doom for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I am not the biggest first-person shooter fan. By no means am I the biggest first-person shooter fan. I typically suck at first-person shooters. But I've really been looking forward to playing something on the go that, has already proven itself to be awesome. And Doom is definitely going to hit that. This is a re-release, essentially, that, was put on, previous, next-gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox One. And it was shocking to hear the news that this was being released on the Nintendo Switch. Seeing the preliminary footage of this and seeing how well it runs, it just looks awesome to me. I really want to give it a go. Like I said, not the biggest first-person shooter fan in the world, but this is definitely something I'm looking forward to. Just because, with typical first-person shooters nowadays, it's more about the multiplayer experience. And, man, I'm being honest, I'm just no good at it. My aim is off, everything. Like, it's just a frustrating mess for me to play first-person shooters, within multiplayer anyway. I still give them a go occasionally. But, to have a solid single-player experience, I can definitely dig that. So Doom, not necessarily tops on my list, but something I am really looking forward to, and I do have this pre-ordered. So, hey, can't wait to give it a shot. Let's go ahead and take a look at my next pick. My next one, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Nintendo Switch, coming out November 17th, so that's right around the corner as well. Yes, there's some add-ons as far as, dressing up as Link and whatnot. I could care less about that. Skyrim, man, it's such a massive game, and I've owned it multiple times, and I've never had the opportunity to really jump into this game and enjoy it the way I wanted to. So with it being released on the Switch, which, everybody knows by now, the Switch is a hybrid console. You could play it on your TV or take it with you on the go. To be able to have Skyrim on the go is fascinating to me, because for the longest time, I was playing more handheld games than I was console games. It was just more convenient for me. And to be honest, I'm a huge Nintendo fan. You guys know that. I love Nintendo. I don't care what anybody says. I do love Nintendo. But as far as handhelds go, I have played my Sony Vita, PlayStation Vita, quite a bit more than any other handheld for the longest time. There's a lot of awesome games for it. So when the Switch was announced and released, it was like, heck yes, gaming on the go and some solid, titles that are being put out there. So The Elder Scrolls, an old game, not many people are going to be excited about this, but for me, having the opportunity to play this on the go or at home is just sick. Just straight sick, and I cannot wait to slay some dragons, do some quests. If I'm waiting for the kids to get out of school and I got to park and wait a half hour, I could, have this with me and play Skyrim for a half hour. If I'm waiting for my wife, anything. I'm always out and about running around. And a lot of times I'm waiting on people or waiting on things, and that's why I love the Nintendo Switch. So to have this, be able to play it here and there, can't wait. Looking forward to it. Next on the list, let's go ahead and take a look. So next on the list is Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. So you might be saying, hey bro, this has already been released. Yes, it has been released in digital format on the Nintendo Switch. It's also been released digitally for, everything else. Limited Run Games did do a physical release for the PlayStation 4. Very limited. Sold out, going for a pretty penny. There is an Asian release of Wonder Boy for the PS4 for a very reasonable price. You could typically find a game for $25-$30 or so. But just like Skyrim, man, if I can have the choice of having a game on the Switch that I know that plays just as well and be able to play it on the go, that's where I'm going to get it. So Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap is releasing the end of November, physical on the Nintendo Switch, and it's an Asia exclusive. So you can order this from Play Asia or wait it out and get it on eBay or possibly Amazon. This is not being released in the US in physical, in a physical release. But with the Switch being region free and with these Asian releases being in multiple languages and this one being released in English just as well, I'm all over it. I've got mine pre-ordered. I cannot wait. Now, I've bought in games from PlayAsia before. For example, the next game that I'm going to mention as like a bonus game, I'm not going to say it yet, but it's a game that's going to be on the Switch, but it was released on the PS4 and the PlayStation Vita. And on the Vita, it was released digital only. And I'm like, dang it, I want a physical release. PlayAsia had the physical Asian release of it that was in English as well. So I picked it up through PlayAsia. I've had plenty of good experiences with PlayAsia. I'm not big on them. I don't order a lot, but occasionally when something like this comes up and they're the first person that I find that is selling it or doing pre-orders, they have not done me wrong. So if you're interested in getting a physical release of Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap for the Nintendo Switch, PlayAsia's got you covered at $33.99. And I think looking back at it, the shipping, it depends on how quick you want to get it. I think if you get expedited, it's going to be quite expensive. If you just do standard, it's a few bucks. So it is what it is. I can't wait for it. So that was my last pick as far as games being released physically this year that I cannot wait for. Now, I do have a bonus one, like I just mentioned, and it does not come out this year. I wish it did, because if it came out this year, I probably would not play half of these games, because this is a game that I already own on the PlayStation Vita, and I have been really addicted to it. And if I had it on the Nintendo Switch, I would just play it all over again. So let's take a look. Dragon Quest Builders. So I know those of you who have watched, plenty of my previous videos and streams, I've never played Minecraft. I'm not a Minecraft person, and I know Dragon Quest Builders is essentially a Minecraft clone. But with it being in the world that Dragon Quest is in and having the objects and items and storyline, that just, and the aesthetic, the look and feel, the monsters, that just got me hooked. So this game I have loved to death playing on the PlayStation Vita. One of my all-time favorite games on a Sony system. I also had it for the PS4, but once the Asian version of it was released for the Vita, I sold it and bought the Vita version, which, man, no regrets. Just really love the game. It's there's a lot to it, not just the building, but all the quests you go on, the storyline progression, the crafting, all that stuff is great. You're essentially building up a village. You're getting people that join your village and they have specific things that they do. And it's just really fun, reinforcing everything and monster proofing your village and just becoming strategic in that fashion was really exciting and fun for me. I really dig it. Can't wait for the Nintendo Switch version to come out. And it says it's coming out in spring 2018. So I don't know for sure when. I wish this would have came out this year, because the game is kind of old by now. This should be Dragon Quest Builders 2. But it's the first Dragon Quest Builders. So, hey, it is what it is. I will replay this game just because I loved it so much. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. So, guys, that was my list. What do you think? Any differences on your list if you're, looking forward to Nintendo Switch games anyway? Like I said, some games that might be pretty apparent, and then some games that might throw you off, like Snipper Clips or, Wonder Boy, that kind of thing. But they're all games I'm legitimately looking forward to, and I cannot wait. And there's a lot of games. I just came back from Target right now. I had to go run to Target to do a couple things, and I just looked at the games real quick, and there's games that are in their Nintendo Switch area that I didn't even know were out. I didn't even know existed. So it's just surprising me all the support Nintendo is getting. Constant releases, a lot of indie games, yes, but a lot of them are pretty solid. A lot of re-releases, that's okay as long as that's not the majority of what we're getting. I don't want the system to just be nonstop ports of old games, even though half of my list was, ports. Hey, it is what it is. It's all good. But I can't wait for those games. Drop a comment down below. What games are you looking forward to? What games, throw them out there, because it might be something I'm not even aware of. And I, really be interested to see what you guys got going on so I could peep it out. Maybe it'll change my list. I don't know. But I appreciate you guys stopping in, checking this video out. Smash that like button. Hit that notification bell, boom, 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 boom. All that good stuff. Subscribe if you have not done so already. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Boom. Thank you. Bye-bye.